Oh, it's getting good. Everybody, Espira, and we're jumping into some more reveals for set 2 Burning Aura, and now is really getting exciting because we've skipped over to covering every single SR and secret rare in the set, which is very nice to see. I will say that Bandai has glossed over a lot of commons, uncommons, and rares that we would typically get in the set, so maybe this is an indication that soon they're actually just going to showcase the entirety of the set and we get to fully dive into that, which should be much more exciting than the one card a day that we've been getting. But nevertheless, that means that we've gotten visibility on what will likely be some of the most impactful cards in the game. So let's check it out. To kick it off with yellow, we've got a 20k 3-drop 10k combo Frieza, hitting up that little cocoon in the underworld with an auto on your turn once per turn. When this card is switched to active mode by a skill, choose up to one of your opponent's rest mode battle cards with a cost of 4 or less, and it can't be switched to active mode during your opponent's next turn. This card can be very annoying. It's effectively a Goldo that's actually able to attack and naturally synergizes really well with your Frieza lead. Just for what it's worth, this will proc on the restand from your Frieza leader. In that fact, it lends itself really well to being able to continue playing the tempo game that yellow really wants to do, while leaning into the keeping stuff in a rest mode and giving yellow a lot more versatility in the removal, pseudo removal world that it lives in, whereas there weren't that many options in set 1. And we're about to see that this rabbit hole gets a lot deeper. So this is the kind of card that if you can let it get away and drag on for really long can be really annoying. Thankfully, the 20k does make it a little bit more bearable. But the fact that it's a 10k combo means that you're never really going to feel bad during this. And that theme of having really good combo power is something that we're about to see in a little bit. And there are some cards where I really wonder why Bandai is giving them that power line. But either way, I think solid card is going to be very annoying depending on the archetype that you're playing, especially in combination with some of the battle protection, removal protection that we've seen in yellow in previous reveals. Moving on to blue, and this is probably the most exciting card for blue that we've had revealed, is a 20k 6-cost Zeno 10k combo again. So another card that you do not feel that bad running. With an on-play, choose all cards in the battle areas other than this card. Place them at the bottom of their owner's deck in a random order. This in itself is actually a throwback to the Zeno that we had in Masters, and honestly is definitely the type of card the blue needed. 6 is a lot, don't get me wrong, but the ability to be able to reset the board, leave yourself with a 20k attacker is really nice, especially since you can utilize your board to attack into your opponent, try to get as much value as you can there before you present a board wipe, and then proceed. And the fact that it's a board wipe that allows you to have a 20k on board that's also a 10k combo, it just brings a lot of things together. So it is the exact style of card that blue really wants. It bottom decks instead of sending to hand, and fun enough, is the only card in the game right now that can interact with field cards. So in that sense, it's a very exciting card, a lot of fun, and I think definitely something that blue welcomes. Actually being a 6 cost, it means that odds are it might not be a 4 of and you're going to slam it down every single game, but it does provide that tech that blue will want, and you don't get punished by having low combo power if it ends up stuck in your hand. Shifting over to green, and this card by itself is making me want to play Android 17 in set 2. We've got an Android 17, 18, 4-cost, 20k power, 10k combo. So again, just such good numbers with an on play. Place 2 cards from your energy in your drop. If your leader is an Android 17, add up to 3 cards with Android in their special traits from your drop to your energy, effectively turning this into a 1-cost 20k that also ramped you, keeping open 3 of your energy to be able to extend your plays even further. Either ramp again or go into something like a Sensu Bean, do a cantrip, anything that you want to do. I think this card's incredibly exciting and opens up specifically Android 17 to really lean into the playstyle that the set 1 androids were indicating that they want to do. So at the end of the day, I think this is that type of thing that really helps distinguish Android 17 as his own green leader and will really push people to want to play that leader, which is a lot of fun. I will say the archetype locking is a little bit weird when you consider that like Android 17 is realistically the only one with leader locking. There's a little bit of stuff with Broly and stuff like that, but they're not as extreme as the Android 17 stuff. So a little bit weird that they're hard locking it as much when it comes to Android 17, but hey, it's a good card and an exciting one for Android players. Moving on, we've got Son Gohan, or like I would like to call him, Big Hit. 3-cost, 20k power, 5k combo, permanent on your turn. If your leader is awakened, this card gets 5k power, and then when attacking, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards that gets minus 15k power for the turn. So like I was saying, he's just Big Hit, happens to have better tags, he's a Saiyan, he's a Universe 7, Tournament Power, and is notably one of the few Self-Awakeners we've actually seen with the set. And Red does want more Self-Awakeners. The fact that it's in theme for Tournament Power Arena obviously helps Topku, So in that regard, you do get a lot more usage out of them, especially since red will want to lean into negging cards more than the KO abilities of, say, 3-drop SR Goku, even though you still run both, because of the amount of KO protection that is present in set 2. So this card's welcome. Red obviously wants more self-awakeners because Top Ku is like a I want to awaken as soon as possible type leader, and he awakens at 3, so it's going to take a little bit more work to be able to get there. So more stuff that fits within the archetype and is also good removal so that you can keep on removing things for essentially free while keeping up your tempo as the red leader is very much welcome. Then finally, we've got Son Gohan Future, the other part of the Trunks puzzle. It is a 5-cost, 30k power, 10k combo. Those numbers with a permanent, all your battle cards with a cost of 3 can't be removed from battle area by your opponent's skills. And then with an end of turn, choose 1. Love flexibility. Play up to 1 battle card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. So thus, we're able to play the 3-drop Trunks. That then allows us to ramp because we're at 5 energy now to be able to play this Gohan. Or alternatively, we can choose up to one of our opponent's battle cards with a cost of 3 or less and KO it. Love the flexibility, love the options, especially since green is going to have to pivot to a more options-oriented playstyle as opposed to just following the script in the same way that it has in set 1. I will say this card's weird though. At the moment, we don't have a ton of 3-drop targets that the decks really want to play. Funny enough, this plays both Trunks, but the set 1 Trunks, set 3 Trunks that's like a blocker is not necessarily really all that great of a card. So having options that allow you to extend the different things you could play, I think is what's going to make this better. But naturally, having the KO is a nice backup, even if there's a ton of KO protection currently in the set 2 format. That said, I do actually think this is much better in androids at the moment. You have more targets that you care to play. The curve out that makes sense for that deck also plays better into this. So in general, I actually do think that Gohan, as it stands, plays better in androids than it does in the typical Saiyan ramps. But hey, we have a lot of cards that haven't been revealed in the uncommon and rare slots that could open up the play. So I don't know where to stand on this card. It's interesting. It reads really strong at first, but then when you kind of think of like how green curves out, it is now a 2-card combo to be able to ramp on 5 because you need to see Trunks. Otherwise, you're probably trying to do something else. So it's kind of weird where it fits in. It's not a bad card. It probably scales better with the future because there's more 3-drops that green will be able to play. But where it stands right now in the green builds that we're currently playing, I'm not so sure. Then we've got probably one of the craziest cards that we've seen yet. A 4-drop yellow Sun Goku with 25k power, 10k combo, and then on play / when attacking, choose up to one of your opponent's rest mode battle cards, and it can't switch to active mode during your opponent's next turn. The turn you play Goku, he will freeze 2 cards, and then every turn subsequent to that 1 card. So we effectively have a single strike version of Golden Frieza, but with 10k combo and 1 energy less. Of course, you don't have the double striker. This is an incredibly powerful card. Absolutely nuts. I understand yellow has a lot of great 4-drop options, but this is a 4-drop option that is a 10k combo that legitimately like time walks your opponent's next turn other than what they might play for that turn. Like, it is absolutely absurd. This card's crazy. Every time I look at that 10k combo, I wonder why. And then I remember cards like Kefla have 10k combo, and I'm like, they're really pushing the envelope on allowing us to have good combo power on cards that are incredibly powerful with good effects. This is easily, in my opinion, one of the best cards in set 2 that we've seen so far. And I think is going to be one that's going to cause players a lot of frustration going into the next format. From the rares and the SRs that we just saw, we're now jumping into the secret rares. That's right, Bandai has blessed us with the secret rare reveals, which means upcoming next is probably going to be the alt arts, which is going to be very exciting. I love to see the flash that they put on cards, and then hopefully the rest of the set from there. For now, we've got a 5-cost Vegito, Saiyan / Patara, which that is very nice. The Patara means that he's actually searchable. He's a 30k attacker, 5k combo, 5 cost on play. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 5 or less and return it to the hand. They really hate blue, don't they? And it has an activate main once per turn if you have 7 or fewer cards in hand, because of course, why can't it have a conditional? Switch this card to active mode. Okay, it's really hard to talk about this card because on one hand, I think this is a fine card. It is a 30k attacker for 5. It has 5k combo. It can attack twice, and it tempo removes something of your opponent's. It is just a very uninspired secret rare. I don't find this very exciting, especially since it's like You took dual attack, you shoved it on 3-cost SR Trunks from set 1, bumped up some of its numbers, and called it a day. I don't think it's very exciting. I don't think it's the type of card that Blue necessarily wanted. But I will say I'm not as doom and gloom as a lot of people. It is a top-end card that has combo, which makes a pretty big difference in all honesty. It's a 30k attacker that attacks twice, and it does tempo a card off the board. Oftentimes, if you're bouncing one of your opponent's 5-drops back, odds are it's going to be a 0 combo anyway, so if you're closing out the game, it doesn't really matter. And then your opponent has to replay the card if they want to get utility out of their double striker again. So it's not bad, and I think Blue will play it. I just am not excited by this, and I think just this is a really lame secret rare, especially in Blue, which on a power level side could use the help, or on the creativity side, it doesn't really scratch that itch, right? So it's like Blue loves doing all these comboing your cards to get cards back from your drop and this and that, and this is like none of that. It doesn't fit into the cool playstyle that Blue does, and it's not really filling any power gaps that it feels like Blue doesn't have. It's just like a side grade option to the Vegeta SR that came in the starter deck. So it's just kind of tough to say what the intent with this secret rare was. And I'm not trying to say that secret rares should be so powerful that they should be 4-ofs in every deck, right? At the end of the day, SRs are more like tech/neat SRs that have flashy effects that reconsider the way that we play the game. Red has UI that has burn. In green, it's a board wipe. So nothing too flashy, but hey, it's impactful. And it's like a big 50k. So it's like, wow. And then for yellow, which we're about to see, is another very interesting effect. So the fact that Blue just gets a beat stick and it's got like a bunch of conditions and it's like not even like great at everything that it does. It's just a bunch of like stats. I don't know. It's fine. I think it'll find a room in Blue decks, but I just am very disinterested by the design space to decide to go with the first Blue secret rare. But the card looks great, and I'm sure the alt arts are going to look fantastic. Switching gears though, if I seemed kind of disappointed, and by seemed it's because I was, by the Blue secret rare, the yellow secret rare is awesome. So we've got Golden Frieza, 40k 6-cost 0 combo power with the permanent. Your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 5 or more are played in rest mode. And do note that permanents are effectively like replacement effects. So this is always active. So it means even if your opponent plays an 8-drop Broly and KOs your Golden Frieza, it will be put in rest mode before it's able to trigger its on-play ability, which is very nice. And then on play, choose up to one of your opponent's rest mode battle cards, doesn't matter the cost, doesn't matter nothing, and KO it. This card's fantastic. It's such a good top end. Is it going to be a 4-of? No, it's not. It's such a good encapsulation of what a secret rare should be. So this is a super exciting ability. And while sure, it mostly does work against green, how many games end on double strikers? So the fact that Golden Frieza is able to insulate against every single double striker in the game just does make it nice that in the late game, if you're sitting at a certain life threshold, that your opponent would be able to get to your life by using a double striker. The fact that you're able to say no to that and next turn potentially use Goku or Golden Frieza or something to keep that card in rest mode afterwards, if you decide to go for it, is all the better. I think this card's fantastic. Again, it's more on the techie side than it is include 4-of, but it has such great usage, and the fact that he's going to be really hard to remove because he's a big 40k, he's a 6-cost, and if you combo him with the 3-cost Vegeta and they're both in rest mode, your opponent can't use removal ability at that point, can't use big cards to get stuff off the board. This card's fantastic. I absolutely love this card, and it's the type of thing that gets me excited, right? Like, oh, like this is cool. And I think that's exactly where secret rares need to be. And I'm a big fan of Golden Frieza and definitely am looking forward to teching a pair in my yellow decks moving forward. And that'll seal the deal on every high rarity card that we have in set 2. Like I said before, now it's just left all the alt arts. So I need you guys to let me know. You guys want me to cover the alt arts? Would you guys like to see me break down everything that we're getting from the reveals now that we've seen all those mechanical uniques? Let me know, because I'm not entirely sure if an art review is something you guys even want. But I will say that I will be covering the entire set whenever they drop the remainder of the cards. Of course, we've seen all the high rarity stuff, so it's left to figure that they're just gonna update the website this upcoming Friday probably and have all the remainder of the commons, uncommons, and rares that we haven't seen yet over there, which should let for a very fun deep dive video. So I'm very excited to get that down. With that said, catch you guys on our next one.